Everyone knows that old story in My Little Pony, right? Twilight Sparkle didn't want to make friends, so instead she dove straight into the books. That's how this epic saga of friendship and adventure started, with her ignoring Moondancer's party to concentrate in avoiding Nightmare Moon's return. But what if things were different? What if in that day Twilight Sparkle had decided to go to the party? Hey beautiful people, I'm Julie, and today we are exploring an alternative scenario that might change everything about the My Little Pony universe. Would Equestria be able to defend itself against evil even without the main six? How would that even impact the world's dynamic, as we wouldn't have that classical group of we know? And most important, would the friends of Canterlot be able to become the new representatives of the elements of harmony? At the beginning of My Little Pony, we see Twilight Sparkle as an introvert pony, completely dedicated to her studies. When she receives an invitation to Moondancer's party, she simply ignores it, thinking it will be a waste of time. But let's change this key event on the story. If Twilight had gone to the party, she would have created a connection with Moondancer and the other ponies of Canterlot: Minuet, Twinkleshy, Lemon Hearts, and even Lyra Heartstrings, that was already part of the group. This simple action would generate initial friendship bonds between them, and Twilight maybe would start to realize that friends could be an important to her studies. In this scenario, Twilight might never receive the task from Celestia of investigating the return of Nightmare Moon back in Ponyville, and she would have been caught by surprise by that event. But now, instead of being in Ponyville with the main six, she would now be in Canterlot, counting with the help of a totally different group of ponies. Without the OG members of Main 6, Equestria, how we know, would be a totally different place. After all, the dynamic of the main characters is the foundation of many of their triumphs, such as the victories against Discord, Chrysalis, Zirek, and many others. If Twilight had followed this alternative path, her friends in Canterlot would have to take the role of the elements of harmony. If I were to attribute elements of harmony to the ponies of this group, I would do as follows. Twilight Sparkle is magic, that is a no-brainer, right? Moondancer is generosity, she would give up the academic ambitions to help her friends. Minuet would be laughter, always optimistic and capable of cheering the group with her joy. Twinkleshine would be loyalty, she refused to leave the group, even at the darkest times. Lemon Hearts is kindness, always taking care of others and helping to peace the group. And Lyra Heartstring is honesty, direct and sincere, helping the group to keep focused. But there's the thing, in the OG universe, Twilight eventually becomes Princess of Friendship and Alicorn with an enormous task. But what if in this alternative scenario she never follows this path? Without the adventures of Ponyville and without the original main six constantly by her side, Twilight wouldn't have the same opportunities to grow as a leader. Her life in Canterlot would remain the same, focused on studies, as she could become more than an academical figure than a princess. Instead of leading Equestria, Twilight would become a magical researcher, dedicated to finding out new spells and magical potions to solve all sorts of problems. Maybe even being trained to become the next headmaster of the School of Magic. Totally different from the future as a princess that we see in the series. However, that doesn't mean that she would be less important. Twilight still would have a huge impact in Equestria, but in a different way. Instead of inspiring friendships in all corners of the realm, she would be an inspiration for those who value knowledge and magical progress. But Julie, if Twilight doesn't become Princess of Friendship, what would happen to the School of Friendship? One of Twilight's biggest legacies is the creation of the School of Friendship, that gathers different races in Equestria to learn about harmony and cooperation. But without her experiences in Ponyville, Twilight might never had the idea of founding this school. Since this is a hypothetical scenario, we predict that she doesn't even become a princess. We can infer that she isn't in Ponyville, even less that she would have a castle made out of gems shaped like a treehouse, which means no school for Twilight in this parallel universe. Maybe instead, she and Moondancer create a school of magic in Canterlot, aiming to teach advanced spells and magical techniques. This school would be place of a technical learning, but would probably leak off emotional aspects like the School of Friendship has. And still with no crown, we wouldn't have Twilight crossing the portal to the human world, since there would be nothing for Sunset Shimmer to steal, not even for her to feel jealous. This way, Equestria girls would be completely different. Sunset Shimmer, without Twilight's interference, would have completely dominated the human world without breaking a sweat. She could use Equestria's magic to become a powerful figure, spreading chaos both in the human world and in the pony world. However, there's a window for her redemption. Without Twilight to force her directly, she could realize on her own that conquering power wouldn't bring her the joy that she was seeking. This could lead to a slower redemption arc, where Sunset returns to Equestria to try to reconciliate with Celestia. In this scenario, Sunset could even take the role of princess, filling the void left by Twilight's absence. And I leave this question for you guys. If Sunset Shimmer become a princess, she would be a princess of what? Comment it down below for me. Can you picture if all these events lead to the possibility of Sunset return to Celestia's apprentice? As if for all this time Twilight was just her plan B. In this case, we might have seen all of the villains from G4 onward defeated by Sunset. Who knows, she even teams up with Starlight in the future. Now I'm upset. I really would have liked to see that. If Twilight had never left Canterlot, her life would be really different. She would remain as a dedicated student, too much into magical books and magical experiments. Although she would have her friends, she would see life in another way and focus in solving problems more rationally rather than emotionally. Equestria in this case would be a place with more magical solutions than interpersonal coordinations. Friendship would still exist, but it wouldn't have the same spot in the original universe. On the other hand, the fact that Twilight went to Moondancer's party proves that the smallest decisions could have huge impacts. Maybe this alternative scenario shows that friendship can emerge in any kind of environment, even in the most improbable ones. Or in a more apocalyptical scenario, like the one we saw in the episode To Where and Back Again, where Starlight Glimmer has the bright idea to go back in time and prevent the supersonic rainbow, we then see that this really changes Equestria's future, as it depends on the main six we know. There was a possibility of the universe where Twilight went to Moondancer's party and everything ended there. No more main six, no more saving the world, because let's be real, if we were to test the future of Equestria's into Celestia, we wouldn't be past Nightmare Moon, right? Unless she was hiding her game all along so Twilight could learn how to defend herself, you know? This alternative timeline is filled with possibilities. Maybe the Canterlot friends would become as iconic as the main six, or maybe Equestria would face even bigger challenges without the original group's dynamic. What do you think? Which other paths could the story have taken? Comment it down below for me. I will read all the comments. Thank you a lot for watching this video till here, and hasta la vista!